Hey guys, my name is Zeb. I am with Mad Dog Reviews. Today, what I'm doing is kind of a simple video. What it is just a basic overview of what this channel is and what we'll be kind of going over. So what it is, obviously, it is a booktube channel, for lack of a better term. I'll go over some of these books that I'm reading right now, and I'll kind of give you guys my thoughts on them and kind of give you my subjective reviews, just because I do think that some of these stories, whether they're well known or not, deserve to be kind of looked at under scope and kind of appreciated for what they are, because they're art. So that's just one of the many reasons why I'm putting this channel up, is to appreciate the stories and the art that these authors and these storytellers have kind of brought into our world here, and just a greater appreciation for literature just in general. But yeah, that's a general idea of what this channel is. Primarily, subject matter wise, be going over science fiction, fantasy, some history, some historical fiction, but it's primarily in the science fiction or fantasy area. But I did also want to start this first video off with actually a short review of one of the graphic novels or books, for lack of a better term, that I read this month, that I actually very much enjoyed. I'm not a huge graphic novel guy, but this one really, it made itself different out of the pack that I have read before. So I just wanted to give it a shout out, or give it a little bit of a spotlight here in that first video. So, and that one is The Last Ronin. So for those of you who do not know, The Last Ronin is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, kind of like a alternate history story, where one of the brothers, I'm not going to spoil who, that's for you to decide if you want to pick this up and read this. One of the brothers survives an attack, and survives essentially a battle with Shredder and his daughter. But only one of them survives, obviously. The rest, including Master Splinter, pass. They die in the battle, and they this turtle, this one brother in particular, has to go through this whole process of mourning, has to go through this whole process of loss, and kind of dealing with the ideas of like post-traumatic stress. You see that a lot in this story, which was shocking, because I don't know, it seems like a lot of times in the comic book medium you don't see those ideas as much. I mean, I know some of the newer comics that are coming out are kind of touching on that a little bit more, but this one's relatively old, and also just the comics that like even I grew up reading as a kid, they didn't touch on that stuff as much. But it's just interesting kind of watching the main protagonist, I'm trying really hard not to say his name, but just watching the main protagonist kind of go through these ebbs and flows of grief and loss and survivor's guilt even. And he meets some old friends along the way. Again, I don't want to spoil who, but it's pretty cool, and there's a lot of really well done, in my opinion, callbacks to the original cast of characters, to the original crew. And there's also a little bit of a continuation, it seems, towards the end, and it's really, I don't know, overall I think the author, Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird, they did a phenomenal job crafting this. It seems like it's one-off, but I could be mistaken. But crafting this new world, as it were, and creating kind of a one that makes sense. Crafting this new world in a way that, like, oh, I could actually see that happening within the universe or within the story itself, and not making it too ham-fisted, and making the protagonist not like a paragon of good. Like, there are some dark things in this story where it really makes you wonder, like, what the main protagonist, what the brother's morality is. And that's the crazy part, because you see through, if you've read any of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comics or watched any of the shows, they're all, I would say, probably in that lawful good sort of, if I was just to put a label on it, morality wise. But this comic, or this graphic novel I should say, kind of subverts that idea and subverts your expectations of the protagonist, and it also kind of does some interesting things with its art. I don't want to open the book up because I don't want to spoil anything, but I mean, you can even just tell from the cover, like, this art it stands out, it pops. Like, I saw it on the shelf at my local bookstore, and I was like, yeah, I probably am going to pick that up, because it stands out. And, you know, a big part of how well they tell the story is the art. It is the imagery that it portrays within the pages. I mean, it's phenomenal. Yeah, I don't want to go too deep into story beats just because I don't want to spoil anything, because, guys, this is a story that you need to pick up for yourself. You need to read, you need to experience on your own, not just me on a screen or someone else on a screen, you know, telling you what it is. But yeah, I mean, after I read it in about a day and a half, which, I mean, I know it's a graphic novel, so they don't typically take long, but I really wanted to, I couldn't put it down. It was just, it enveloped you and it sucked you in, and it was like, I can't stop. I don't want to stop, but I need to go to sleep because I have work in the morning. So it was just like, you know. So yeah, this, like I said, this story, this art, the story beats within it, and the complex emotions it handles, it's amazing. It's very well done, especially for a graphic novel. It did some of these darker tones, it did some of these darker feelings far better than some books that I've read in the past. And it's fascinating that even with the visual art and the words, it portrays an even deeper picture than some of the other novels that I've read in the past. And I think that is something to be celebrated with this graphic novel. But yeah, I mean, that's my very small take on what this story is. If I were to rate this, I would definitely rate this a 5 out of 5 on that scale, at least. But yeah, I mean, my biggest recommendation, even if you're not a huge Ninja Turtles fan like I grew up being when I was younger, I would say pick this up. This story has a lot of very deep themes, very challenging emotions, and also just, like I said, the art just blows the windows off anything I've seen from a graphic novel in a long time. But yeah, that's up to you guys to decide, and it's up to you guys to get enveloped into the story. But yeah, ultimately, I would say buy this. If you see it at your bookstore, you see it at your Barnes & Noble, grab it right away, open it up, and just enjoy that world. But that's all I got for you guys right now. Take care.